in a world where drones are
Nope,
king,
not a world. Not a world.
in a land
Not that
where,
either.
in a time where
It's about
two,
drones.
in a land before time
Oh my
where
god.
two
It's about
drone.
a drone.
Yeah.
28.
Here we are. We're live. Hey, Davy boy.
What's up, Mike? How are you today, buddy?
How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
This is Double Shot Drones. Frank,
What's up, Frank?
our one subscriber.
What's up, Frank?
I think this is our 28th episode. Adam Novak was our 27th episode. I know that because I was editing it today.
Yeah.
And did you
Adam
know
Novak.
that episode is like exactly like 30 minutes? It was like cut short for some reason.
Well, I don't know.
We started
All right, I got to get my camera.
we started jibber jabbering before the
Oh,
episode.
Fakaka.
And
There we
like you
go.
said, it was using up our time.
Yeah.
So I'm still researching that other podcast
Platform.
platform, yeah, to record. I think it's a charge, but it might be worth it. Like $18 or something like that per month. But anyway,
You can put the name of it up here.
yeah, we'll figure it out. So yeah, how was your week? How was last week?
I did pretty good last week. I was pretty busy with a lot of real estate jobs, which was nice, you know. It's good to get recognition for that rather than just these inspections that we do on a daily basis, you know.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
building a clientele with that is premier for me at the moment, you know. Getting more real estate agents on board and
yeah, man, I'm starting to build that empire.
yeah.
I had an interesting week. I think I told you I did the Bavaro's restaurant.
You did, yes.
Yeah,
I
the
can-
Bavaro's restaurant, which very happy with the way it turned out, and I'll put it right here, somewhere up there, in there, yeah. A portion of it. It was pretty cool, man. It's right on the beach. I mean, it's like right on the beach side of Clearwater Beach. And my wife and I went out. She helped me, and she was kind of my VO spotter.
Oh yeah.
And let me tell you, I would have probably crashed the drone without her. It was a little
Really?
windy. Yeah, it was a little windy, and she had her eye on the drone, and I'm flying it, and trying to do both. Um, I got some pretty creative shots. I'm pretty happy with it. Um, and I even had the drone inside. I was gonna fly it, and they were actually okay with me doing that, but I didn't want to.
Were there patrons in there?
It was packed. It was
Oh
absolutely
no,
packed.
no, no, you know, Florida.
Yeah, it was. But the owner was like, "Yeah, go ahead, do it." I'm like, "No." Or the manager was like, "Yeah, go ahead, do dances, do whatever you want to do." I'm like, "No, I'm just." So I held it, and the only thing is, it's kind of like I'm gonna have to adjust the wobbliness of it. Even though it was a gimbal, it kind of was like creeping in. But I was able to cut some of the cuts of it, longer shoot, cut it down a little bit. Got some really cool stuff with the pizza going in the oven and all that and coming out, and then making the pizza, and then some of the patrons on the sidewalk, eating, it was pretty
So
cool.
you went all out, huh?
Yeah, very tropical feel to it. Did a point of interest, did stuff like that, did some other creative
How
stuff.
did you get that job?
So I got that job on my day, well, basically on my day off when we started doing these TikToks and stuff. I was just trying to, it was just one day.
2014, 2014.
You're over 1,000?
2014.
Yeah. I'm just over 200.
Buddy.
I'll get that. I've been laxing on that. Anyway, on my day off, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna do some tiny worlds, and I was doing that tiny world shot. at but the amphitheater in Clearwater called the Sound. And I thought, and there was this couple that like ran into my shot, like a husband and wife, like ran into my shot, and I'm like, oh hey, why don't you guys kiss while you're there, And they didn't know what I was doing. I was, they thought I was just filming it, right? And then they like kissed and they went out and they created the world and everything. Boom, went back in, and I showed them about like what I was, trying to create, and they're like, "Oh my god, that is so amazing! Send that to us." Da, 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 da. So we immediately like exchanged information, and I wasn't making any money. I was $0 that like absolutely $0 that day. I had nothing going on. I'm like, I'm just gonna get creative, and the the husband goes, um, do you do other stuff? Do you do other type of photography? Like, oh yeah, I do construction, inspections, real estate, events. Oh, you do like a you do like restaurants? Like I had done that hippie shack, I'm like, yep. And so I showed them that on Instagram, and they're like, oh, that's really good. That's really good. Well, I tell you what. Well, we got a friend. We're actually going there right now. We're going to this restaurant called Bavaro's on Clearwater Beach, and it just kind of opened. It's our one of my best friend's restaurant, and I'm thinking of giving him a gift.
Get out of here.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's talk. So I told him what I could do, and he goes, well, that's awesome. When are you available to do it? And how do I pay you? That's what he said. When are you available to do it? And how do I pay you? And I'm like, well, I'm available next week and you can pay me at any time. He goes, awesome. Is Venmo okay? I'm like, excellent. And I, not kidding, Davy. They left. We kind of exchanged numbers and everything and all that. And they went to go eat at Bavaro's, right? Their friend's restaurant, their friend Dan's restaurant. And I get a zing on my phone. He paid for the full shoot right then and there.
The guy Dan or the guy you met?
No, this guy, his name's I think he's Egyptian. Shiraj. And
Shout out
his
to Siraj.
wife's
Shout out to Siraj.
Siraj, yeah, Siraj. And his wife Artie. They were just a
Artie, shout out to Artie.
wonderful Egyptian, couple. I think they're Egyptian. And they even asked me if I wanted to smoke some weed
Okay.
before they went to the beach. And I was like, well, no. And at that moment, right when they said that, I got a call from Brinley, my daughter Brinley. Right, Bryn? She's like, Daddy, when you coming home? I was like, can't smoke any weed. I gotta go. So I said, no, I can't do that. I got to go to my daughter because my wife was out with her friends that night, and I was babysitting. So she wanted me to come home and cook dinner. So it was a Friday, right? I couldn't believe it. He paid for it, and then he's like, and he told me he's a lawyer, and he goes, you do projects in Orlando? I'm like, yeah, I go to Orlando all the time, maintenance area, da da da. He's like, well, I have a lot of friends that have businesses in Orlando. I'm going to tell them about you. Da, da, da. So, and he goes, oh, incidentally, if you do a good job on this Bavaro's restaurant, there's 5 more of them in 4 or 5 more in Tampa Bay.
In Tampa, yeah.
I'm like, I'd never heard of this place. I'm like, awesome. It's kind of like it's wood fired grill for pizza. It has like Mediterranean fare as well. I mean, it's a really good restaurant. Upper scale like pizza place. Anyway, so I was like, this is just unbelievable. He paid for the shoot. I didn't even do the shoot. And then I had to coordinate with Dan. He gave me Dan's info. And they went to the Clearwater Beach and they told Dan all about me. Da, da, da. And he's like, yeah, have him come out anytime. So it took me about 2 months to get out there, just to kind of coordinate when they'd have a really busy time, because they had just started out. And if I would have went that week, it would have been truly a grand opening. But they wanted to wait until,
There's
it was
people
just
flying.
slammed. Yeah, slammed every night. People walking by the restaurant, and all that. So we waited a little bit, and I just kept the money and kept on telling, say, hey, I've got this date open, da da da. And finally, the owner Dan said, "Can you come out on either a Friday or a Saturday?" And I was like, "I can. I think Saturday might be best. Let's try that." He goes,
That's
"Yeah,
awesome.
yeah." And so we did it on Saturday. We did it last Saturday.
How long did it take you?
Oh, probably maybe an hour. The whole thing, hour. Uh, maybe a little longer. I still have to. He wants to get a shot of Clearwater Beach. The bridge, Highway 60, the bridge
Yep.
going over to Clearwater Beach.
Yep.
Kind of an aerial shot of that. And I've been waiting for the right day to pop that one in there. I was going to do it today, but it was low tide.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything's edited. The video's edited. I just have to pop that first shot in there. And it's done.
Like
So the
the
editing took
lead
me
in.
about 2 hours. Yeah, knocked it out. So 3 hours total on the whole project for, you know, a good chunk of change. Yeah.
Nice. That works.
I'll do that all day long. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And yeah, hopefully I can do his other restaurants. That'd be something nice for their social media. Um and I mean I consider myself kind of a know-it-all, like almost like a guide of Tampa Bay. I've been here for so long, but I literally have not ever heard of that restaurant. So how many other people, you know, haven't heard of it? So, you know, drone's the right job, the right, you know, uh, thing for that restaurant, I would think, to promote it.
Yeah. I've been what's the word? Contemplating approaching the Chamber of Commerce out in Sanibel again.
Hmm,
Um,
you should. Like, would you belong? Would you have to belong to them then, or?
well, I think you might, but I mean, um, I think you're become a member of the Chamber of Commerce if you're it's probable, you know what I mean? But if you're a business owner or something like that there. Whereas like before the hurricane, I had started to do a small project of, I think I told you, like an aerial directory. When you go up, you do the 360s, and then you
Oh
flag
yeah, yeah,
flag the restaurant there, you flag the
dude,
golf course there, you flag the thing there, and then you click on it, and then it brings you right down to it.
yeah.
And then you get to the front door, and then you walk in and you do a virtual tour.
So, what would you do with the directory? Would you just
Well,
lease
that
that,
that
like
that's
sell
where
that?
the Chamber of Commerce comes in, because I got the idea because when I was living on Sanibel, you'd go into the local grocery store and there'd be the trifold or the fourfold thing right there, and
The
you pull
map,
it out,
yeah,
and
the
it was
maps, yeah, with all the
not a cartoon drawing, but it was a caricature drawing
yep,
of the island with little flags and little, I mean,
yep.
anchors and everything else, and of each business, like the surf shop and
And
the
they
local,
and they pay for that. Each little
and those.
location pays a
Correct.
little bit to produce that. Yeah, yeah.
Correct. So
Ooh,
I had seen something on Kula, that Kula, that
yeah,
360. Yeah, I'd seen something on Kula. A couple of guys in some part of Australia, beach in Australia or something like that there had done something along those lines. And I was like, well, Sanibel's a small island, and it's got Captiva and Sanibel. So, modern world means that there's, people that are not on the island yet, but want to know the layout.
for sure.
you know, and
Tutti Pazzi. We want
yeah,
to know where Tutti Pazzi's at.
and you know, you give them the opportunity when they Google Sanibel, it's like, well, click on here for like this, you know. So, you know, and then you know, then I get introduced to all the businesses. And then of course I started to do it, you know, tagging all the beaches and all the stuff like that that wasn't a business as yet. You know, I mean, I hadn't started to approach the businesses yet. And then the next thing, the hurricane came. So, you know, but there's a lot of new businesses, a lot of new businesses there now.
So what would you think? Like, okay, so what would you charge per business? Like $150 per business, or just to get an aerial shot times 20 businesses?
Well, it depends, you
And
know.
you give
Some,
that, you'd give the map to the Chamber of Commerce, right?
well, this is where I would have to ask, you know, the question in SEN and stuff like that there, or even Hula and stuff like that there, like how, you know, how do you provide access to multiple people for that? I mean, how do you let people access that, you know?
Well, you know what? Also, that could be like a in for some for doing like more stuff with those restaurants and
But
those
that's what I'm saying,
businesses.
you know, I mean, you
Yeah.
know, the restaurant would pay, you know, to be on that, like, or
So,
the course would pay to be on that.
so I do have experience in that, Davey. As an artist, I did a cartoonish one of Clearwater Beach 25 years ago, and I exactly that. I had like a lot of those businesses aren't even there. I still have the drawing. I should probably put it up here. It was black and white though. Mine was black and white, and I was gonna charge at the time, I think $50 a pop just to get your business on there. And I would draw, you know, where you are in the boardwalk and all that, all the hotels and everything. And I counted up, there was probably maybe 30 or 40 businesses. So I was like, okay, 40 times 50, you know, okay. Wow,
Yeah.
2 grand right there. Boom. And I was going to do it and I was going to print it up. And I approached some of the shops before I even did the printing and everything, you know, I was drawing it anyway. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way. I was just bored and I just started drawing it. And I thought it'd be cool, you know, to do a print of it or something like that. Somebody might buy the print and put it in their rec room, whatever. But it turned into that. It was like somebody said, hey, you should charge those businesses to be on that map. So I would think, you know, the 360 thing, um, I mean, just to get him in, just try, you know, charge
Yeah.
a small amount of money.
Yeah. You know,
And
again, you have to ask the Chamber of Commerce what they want out of it. You know, I mean, it's like,
right,
you know, what is their portion? Now,
that's a great idea.
then it comes to like the Tutti Pazzi's of the world. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so I I'll put the flag where Tutti Pazzi is, and then you click on it and your menu goes there,
Yeah,
right? Now, if you click on the menu, now I could do the reverse tiny planet down to the front door, and
yeah.
now you're going to pay, you know, $250 for a virtual tour for me to walk through your property or your thing,
Ah,
you know, or
ah.
you know what
And
I'm saying,
and then they're gonna want to
or
know.
or if they just want to have, you know, $50 for the flag for the location, you know,
And
I
then
mean,
they're
it's
gonna want to know where's this going? Like who's gonna be seeing this? How are
well,
their prospective clients gonna see this?
but that's what I'm saying. That's where I talk to the Chamber of Commerce or the people on Sky Network. How does this become a thing where people in Ireland, if they're visiting Sanibel, where do they go to find this? You know what I mean?
I wonder if Devin Day did something like that. He's always doing something creative like that.
Well, I saw uh Bill Kinnear. He does stuff with Cloud Pano, I think.
Yeah,
Um, there was a guy on
we
Sky
got to
Network.
get Billy on here. We got to get him on B
There was a
flight
guy on
imagery.
Sky Network the other day posted something not unlike what I'm talking about. He did a small thing of his neighborhood, you know what I mean? So it it just, you know, made me feel like it's a thing, you know, I was talking about it with Adam Novak up in
Like,
Tahoe.
oh, in Tahoe, yeah,
Yeah, because you know, then you go to the golf courses as well, and it's like you get the golf course, you tag the golf course, and then if they want you to do the golf course, you know, now you're charging, you know, $100
right.
a hole. You
And
know
then
what I mean?
the key is going to be like, where are people, like, you know, where's the chamber going to send this stuff? Like, where are they going to send that virtual map? Like, how? I mean, if I'm just looking at myself as a business owner, I'm like, okay, I have this business, I want to be on that map.
Well, if you
Great,
click Chamber of
awesome.
Com, if you click Chamber of Commerce Sanibel,
It would be maybe on their
it
website.
would be on their page.
Ah, there you go.
Or if you click Sanibel Island, how do I get it onto the Sanibel, city of Sanibel? How do I get it onto their page? You know, what I mean,
Dude, dude, they're out of all our Sky Eye network pilots in our network, somebody's doing that. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I know it. Somebody's doing that.
I don't think there is, but it's, I mean,
Really?
it's not a stretch, no. You know, but that's what I'm saying. There was one guy that I saw the other day who's a newbie, you know, newbie
Okay.
as, you mean, the last few months, I think,
Right.
has just done that. I
Who's
mean,
that?
just in the last couple of days, I saw it. You know, I can't
Who
remember
who
who it
who
was.
is that?
I can't remember who it was.
The Julian guy or trying to think.
I can't remember who it
I
was.
think I remember. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, somebody.
I mean, within the last 3 or 4
And
days,
yeah, it piqued my interest too. I think, and I was like,
you know.
oh,
So
that's interesting.
and he asked a question as to something and how do you do something, and you know, Bill Kinnear was the go-to. And I remember speaking to him about it before, I think, or
Okay.
communicating it with him about
So
it.
Adam, you said Adam hasn't done that yet? He
No,
Adam Novak?
but when we were in Tahoe, that's what I'm saying, like a year and a half, 2 years ago,
Right.
I was communicating with that idea with Adam, you know, like, and that was right before the hurricane. So, you know, it was,
So yeah, I mean, man, you got all these, like, at least around here, we
I
got
mean, you can do it, you could do this
Safety
anywhere.
Harbor,
You could do it on Clearwater Beach. You could do it anywhere.
Clearwater Beach, Palm Harbor, St. Pete Beach,
Yeah, see, I mean, I could do it from here, and then when you,
Madeira Beach,
but
Reddington Beach, all these beaches, yeah.
yeah, I can do it from Sanibel, and then in the distance, you put
What's that?
in the distance, I put Fort Myers Beach. You put a, you know, what's up, Brand? How are you, babe?
You said, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, you feeling better?
Yeah.
Look at the screen.
Did I see you guys at the beach the other day?
Yeah,
What? Huh?
at the beach.
I
You
saw you
saw
guys
us?
at the beach,
I
yeah?
posted it on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't at the beach, no. I was working.
Oh, okay. Bye. I have to
Bye,
take
see you
something.
later.
All right,
Alright. It's right here.
I got it.
You got it?
No, but Mike, you extended like from, you know, from Sanibel, and you're on the Sanibel, then you put a drone up there that says Fort Myers Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to Fort Myers Beach and you just start doing the whole thing again. But when you're on the Sanibel website, you click on the Fort Myers Beach drone and you just zip over to Fort Myers Beach, you know what I mean? And then
Dude, this is brilliant. This
and the
is
next thing
freaking
you're on Fort Myers Beach,
brilliant.
but all of those, well, there's not much on Fort Myers Beach right
And
now.
would you like, would it be hosted on Kula?
Yeah. Or well, you mean I
Is
have
Kula-
Kula, so
Is
yeah.
Kula, well, I mean, whatever, but is Kula, so it'd be on the Chamber of Commerce site, but then it would have to be hosted by Kula. There's a charge for that hosting, right? I think.
Yes,
For
I
Kula,
think well, the charge is for me to host my
right? Your site or whatever, your
my
page.
tours.
Yeah, on Kula.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I think I'm paying for Kula and I'm not even using it. So.
You know what, Davy? I think I'm paying for Kula too, and I'm not using it. Because I did a couple of years ago, I did a few 360 tours, and then I lost my 360 camera. My Ricoh Theta, whatever,
Theta, yeah.
360. I still can't find it. It's a little tiny thing, but I did some $1 million mansions with that thing, and then I lost it, but then nobody really had much interest in it. Like I couldn't get any, much traction going for some reason. Dude, that picture behind your head is awesome. Philadelphia?
Philadelphia.
Wow. That's
Philadelphia
awesome.
Freedom.
This picture here, I don't know if you see
Yeah.
this house here. This wait, let me see
Brown
if I can
roof.
get- This here,
Yeah.
that's an over 100-year-old boathouse
Oh yeah.
on a lake in Odessa, north of Tampa. And the house right there,
Yeah.
that's an over 100-year-old house. And when I did this job, I got to meet the owners and everything. And the job was for this dock builder,
Yeah.
TNA Docks.
Oh
We
yeah.
were
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
a seawall
Yeah.
along there. Not really a dock, but a seawall. But it was a very historic place. I just didn't know if I explained this photo. Very historic place. And the owner of that house, the original owner of that house, was like a who's who of Tampa Bay, like when Tampa Bay was like developing over 120 years ago. And that's where he lived. He was like a doctor, I guess, that his name's on a lot of buildings in Tampa. That's all I know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, very historic house. And I went inside and it's just like unbelievable. It's just like huge stone fireplace, and you could just see the way they lived 120 years ago, And anyway, that's what that picture is. But
Yeah. I remember you. I remember
back to
that.
the
Good night, Davy.
Bye,
Good night.
Brent. See you later.
night.
she said
Feel
goodnight.
better.
She's on the upswing. She's got to still take medicine for her
Yeah.
strep throat, but she's going to school now, so it's good.
Yeah.
And she went to swimming tonight too. But anyway, back to the
That's a
360.
good sign.
Yeah, but that camera has now been updated, right? That's
No.
the Veda or Beta. What's it called?
Theta Z1. No.
Z1. I
Yeah.
bought it about 4 years ago.
They haven't updated it though.
They haven't updated that one. It was a really good camera.
They released another one, but all they did was increase the memory. One was like 18 megabytes. Now the second one is 52 megabytes. But
I
that,
didn't have-
I mean,
yeah, I
that
didn't
was 3 years ago. You know
I
what I
didn't have
mean?
any problems with it at all.
All they did was increase the.
But it's weird because I'm seeing more and more virtual tours now. Like
Yeah.
it's starting to, people are starting to get interested in it. But,
Well, that company 360, which is the 360 Sphere, the one we're talking about using with the Air 2S, that
Right.
360 company have
That's-
sort of become the Xerox of 360 cameras. You know what I mean? But the Theta Z1 is a full 1-inch sensor, so it's always going to be better than, a smaller sensor, a cropped sensor camera. So, they're making it easier to do it, but they're using lesser products, so, anybody that's buying a 360 is, but the cameras these days for what they're using them for. You saw, who was with us last week there?
Adam Noah.
Adam, no, a week before Adam was,
Matt.
no.
Wait a minute.
We're
A
getting older.
guest? Who our
We're
guest
getting-
was?
We're getting older.
Oh my
Arizona.
God.
Arizona. He was out in Arizona. Annabelle and
Annabelle's boy. Yeah. What the heck? Yeah. You know what?
we might have to edit this
Oh my God.
podcast.
I'm gonna put his name right here.
And right here, and right here, and right here, and right
It's
here.
not Brian, it's Are you kidding me? We just interviewed him.
I know.
Was it-
You don't-
Wait,
and
wait. Was that before Adam or after Adam? Oh God. We know Annabelle. Hey, we got
Right.
Annabelle.
Greg Bernstein.
Greg Bernstein.
Greg,
Greg,
apologies,
we
Greg.
are so sorry. We're gonna plaster your name all over this podcast. Greg Bernstein, Greg Bernstein, Greg Bernstein.
Yeah, well, we saw
Oh.
what Greg did with the Theta Z1 Matterport
Yeah.
walkthrough of that beautiful house. You know, I mean, it's like you couldn't tell the difference between that or a Matterport camera.
That, yeah. I mean, that camera is like what, $350, $400?
The Theta,
The Theta.
1100. Excuse me,
Dude, the one I bought
1049.
was like $350.
1049 it is. Well, then you didn't get the Z1. You don't have the Z1.
Now, I had the very whatever. Remember, everybody was getting it in the network. Well, you might not have been in the network then.
No, I
You were
had
just,
that before I
yeah,
got
you
the
weren't in the
network though.
network.
But the
Somebody,
Theta Z1 is $1,047.
oh wow, somebody, Taco wants to say hi.
Hey, Taco.
Somebody, Taco, can't see your face. Somebody posted it on the
Taco
Sky
looks like he
Network
just woke up.
on the Facebook page, and then all of a sudden everybody just started buying it. This is probably about 3, 4 years ago, and I literally, somebody posted it, and I swear to God, like immediately, like 30 people bought it, like literally, like, oh hey, I found it here, da da da. Next thing you know, there was like a big long text string. I got it, just got it in the mail, get it in the mail, and I did that, and I was like part of that 30 of the
Well,
literally at that 1/3 of the network at that time bought that camera.
yeah,
The
well,
first
it
one.
wasn't the Z1 then because
It's really small. I mean, it's like this big, that wide, that big.
yeah, but it's
Powerful
not the Z1.
camera.
It's not the Z1.
Well, I don't know. I lost it, so
Okay, yeah. No, it's
I mean, Davy, it's so small that it's like easy to like misplace.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's see yours. Yeah, it looks just like that.
But this, I'm telling you, Mike, the
That's
Z1 is $1,000. It's $1,100,
Okay,
$1,200.
got it.
There's a different one which is less.
That's the one I got. Well, okay. 4 years ago, it was $350. So maybe that same one is probably, doubled or whatever by 800. You can probably find them on OfferUp. Hey, I see we got the notice here. So I wanted to talk about that funeral I did.
Yeah.
So I don't, are people doing funerals in the network at all? Do you know?
I don't think they're pushing it, but I mean, it's a vertical. It's as my
Davey,
dad always says, there's people dying every day,
well, it's definitely a vertical, and I did the video, and let me tell you, it's challenging. It's stressful doing a funeral because, like you told me, you're like, hey, you want to stay out of the way, da da da. Dude, I couldn't get airspace authorization next to the church where they were, doing the ceremony and all that. And so I had to go like 6 blocks away. This is in Tampa. So I've got the deal with Tampa International Airport and MacDill, MacDill Air Base, CENTCOM, Central Command. So I was like screwed, man. Like I kept on telling the lady Clemmy that her mother passed. That's who hired me to do this. She's like, and I'm like texting her. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to bother you. Da, da, da. I don't know if I'm gonna make this happen. Da, da. And I kept on going a block further away, a block further away, a block further away. And finally I was like, Lance, I can get Lance here. And I was able to get Lance, and it approved me, believe it or not, for 200 feet. Right?
Yeah, 200 feet there, not 200 feet over there, though.
No. Yeah, the church is over here, and I'm flying, a half mile over here. I'm, on the street right here, and I gotta go over there. Okay, so that was stressful. And I got to coordinate. They had like a 25 motorcycle, escort, police escort, which was pretty impressive. It was like ordered by the mayor because this lady was like really, really important in the Black community as far as like being a pioneer among Black teachers. I mean, I'll just put it this way: her name's on a school, Doris Reddick. And I did, as the ceremony went on, they had a live feed, so I'm listening to the ceremony, and just all these people are like, telling testimonials about her, like she was this like amazing teacher, and she was like the first Black woman on the board of directors in Tampa,
Yeah.
of the education and all that, and all these firsts. Like she was just pioneer. And like
Well,
her
did you get
fifth grade student, one of her fifth grade students, who's like in her 70s, like had this like really emotional testimony of her, and it was like, oh my God, this lady's amazing. I wish I would have had her as a teacher. So anyway, here I am, half mile away. I'm getting Lance. I got Lance, low altitude, Alliance certification there. And it's weird because if I would just move like a half a block over, I wouldn't get clearance. If I just moved like a little bit further north, I
But
got
you mean that doesn't mean that because you have it here, you can fly over there.
right. But so
And you also did.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I mean, I had my viewfinder I was looking at, right? I knew that nothing's over 50 feet high in that area. So, but it was stressful. So anyway, okay, I'm like, when are they going to be leaving? Like, when are they taking the casket out of the church? That's, I wanted to get that. And then they go down the road, and I follow them down the road, right? And I don't even know where the cemetery is, I'm just thinking I'm just getting this first footage, right? And so I go over to the church. I drive over to the church, and I talk to one of the police captains. I'm like, so when are you guys gonna be like? Clemming was telling me that it's about an hour and a half ceremony. He's like, well, right, the ceremony's over. I'm like, I know. I was listening to it. He goes, well, they're in the back room of the church. They're serving food and everything. I'm like, yeah, I figured that, but how long is that going to be? He's like, it could be a half hour. It could be 20 minutes. Who knows? I'm like, okay, so go back over. And I'm just like, okay, I'm flying the drone up. So I'm flying it over to the church just to see what's going on. Nothing's happening. And I'm like, okay, I'm sitting there hovering.
You got less than a minute, brother.
And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm like, how am I going to make this happen? And so I texted Clemmy, and she said, if you can't get the footage, here's a cemetery. Go to the cemetery. So I use my second last battery, and I go over and I get to the church. They're leaving. Everybody's leaving. So I get the footage I can on the road with the motorcycles and the whole, convoy of cars and everything. And I get some okay footage, and then I race over to the cemetery.
We're going to have to revisit this.
I'll beat him there. Long story short, I get to the cemetery.
Long story short, I'll go to another follower, and I'll see, who else does that, and I just heart follow, or heart scroll, and like every once in a while I'll put a comment in there, but for 90% of the time I'm just hearting and scrolling.
And then you get home and you find you got 30 new followers.
Dude, I'm up at, what am I, 1,020 or something?
Well, hey, speaking of that, now supposedly you can go live. You can do, isn't that one of the perks?